What up, HyperChange? Welcome to another episode. Today, I want to show you guys one of my favorite new websites in the crypto universe. It's called Dappradar. It has all of this amazing data on the most utilized tokens built on the Ethereum blockchain. So I had my buddy and HyperChange's crypto asset advisor, Alexander Tsankov, walk me through the platform, and I want to show you guys how to use it and why I'm so hyped on this. We're going to dappradar.com. This is a really interesting tool for everybody out there following the crypto asset and especially Ethereum space because it gives an overview of the most popular applications or dApps, decentralized applications running on the Ethereum blockchain. You can see data on how many people are using these applications, how much Ethereum they've transacted, how that's growing or not. All of this data comes straight from the blockchain. And today we're going to have HyperChange's crypto asset advisor, Alexander Tsankov, who's here with me, help us walk through. He's the one who showed me Dappradar and has been teaching me how to use it. So I wanted to have him on and teach you guys a thing or two about it.
Hey, so Dappradar is sort of the equivalent of the Apple App Store. So the idea is it's a very easy way for people to figure out what people are actually using on the blockchain and how much people are paying to use it. Basically what you see here is a list of the most popular dApps right now. It's broken down into a number of different categories. They're all ranked right now, and they're being ranked by daily active users. So daily active users are actually people that have logged in the past 24 hours and performed a transaction using this application.
So this isn't just people who've logged in to check their account on Fork Delta, let's say. It's people who've actually made a trade on Fork Delta.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is not people who have actually visited the webpage. This is literally people who have actually interacted with the smart contract. Okay.
And I think that's important because maybe DAUs of 2,000 people look small if you're comparing it to a social network like Snapchat.
Yes.
But Snapchat is counting just views or impressions, not really transactions or engagements.
Yes.
So these are really engagements with each of the applications.
Oh, I mean, there's so much more than that. So in this case, we're looking right now at Fork Delta and IDEX. These are two competitors. They're both attempting to do decentralized exchanges. And what a decentralized exchange is it's imagine them as an on-chain stock exchange where two parties can meet together with asks and bids and buy tokens between each other. And those are any ERC20 tokens.
So mini stock markets for Ethereum tokens. Basically.
Exactly. So what you're seeing when you're seeing a daily active user of 2628 and you're seeing the past 24-hour volume being 4,555 ETH,
yeah,
that means people have done 4,555 ETH worth of business in the past 24
trades.
hours.
And because it's an exchange worth of trades.
Yeah.
So let's say ETH is at 550 right now.
Yeah.
Times 4,555. Oh. So that's about $2.5 million worth.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, obviously it's an exchange, so that doesn't mean they made $2.5 million, but it does mean that it's actually doing a lot of trade volume and there's a lot of economic activity happening.
And that's a really interesting point because now we could value Fork Delta because let's say they're taking, we assume they take a 1% cut of every transaction.
Yes.
A 1% of 2.5 million is about 25,000 in revenue on a daily basis, and then you could annualize that and get sort of an annualized run rate of the business's revenue. And
definitely.
So, even just, and there's a lot of businesses on here that are beyond exchanges. So this is a great tool to really start to understand the fundamentals of these tokens.
Definitely. And what's really interesting is that actually you can see right now IDEX has 2,518 daily active users, but it has 5,539 ETH worth of volume.
So less trades, but more value per trade is happening.
That's sort of what I'm looking at it. And that's very interesting. I don't know necessarily what that means in terms of investments, but I do know that you can actually buy a token in IDEX and receive a piece of that action.
Oh, okay. And so could you also now explain maybe this balance column, sum of ETH balance in all dApps contracts, in the context of Fork Delta, what does that mean?
That means that the Fork Delta smart contract holds 29,000 ETH. So
Like their wallet, sort of?
Yeah, so every contract has the ability to store ETH and to dispense that ETH under specific reasons. So what this can tell you is that all the fees have accumulated into the contract, and people can withdraw those fees to take profits. So the reason why that might be interesting is, let's say you've invested in a token in one of these, and the token entitles you to a piece of the profits.
I've invested in basically the Fork Delta token to be like sort of an equity owner in the project.
Yes, so you would know that when that number gets lowered, that profits have been paid out to the shareholders. So this is where it gets really interesting. So
and so is the team withdrawing any capital from this number? This is like to pay the development team.
Yes, the development team could
withdraw some to pay for stuff. But sort of, if you were to own a token in Fork Delta, this is almost like the cash or ETH on your balance sheet.
Exactly. So another thing is that you can see then CryptoKitties. CryptoKitties has 567 ETH in volume, but it did 1,100 users. So that means
CryptoKitty transactions are smaller, I guess.
Smaller than exchanges, but still, the fact that there were 1,100 active transactions in that community shows the actual usage patterns of it.
Yeah. Oh, and this is a great time to bring up a quick mention of kind of what we talked about before, but the P-ETH ratio. So like we can calculate the volume has been 68. I don't know, how much of a cut does CryptoKitties take?
So that is dependent on the Dapp.
Quick demo of like the P-ETH ratio. We did a quick Google. This totally could be wrong, but it looks like the CryptoKitties team takes about 3.75% of every transaction on their network. So in the last 24 hours, there was about 68 ETH traded on their network. So if we take 3% of that, or 3.75, then we get to 2.5 ETH per day in sort of like revenue going to the CryptoKitties team. And this is all open source and you can all see it times 365. And we get on an annualized basis that they're doing about 930 ETH in revenue. And then we can times that times whatever price the Ethereum is. And we see that CryptoKitties as a business is averaging, or it looks like about $500,000 in revenue annually based on today's run rate of transactions. So I think that's such a fun way of like calculating the earnings ratio of these projects.
Oh yeah, it makes it obvious why Andreessen Horowitz invested in them. This one, it's called EtherRoll. It's basically a dice game on the Ethereum blockchain, and the idea with it is that it's provably fair. So people know that the house just has a 1% edge, and it is provable that the house cannot do more than that. So think of it as kind of like a slot machine that you know can't cheat you and only takes 1%.
So that would be opposed to like a different random non-blockchain gambling app where like you don't know if the software is taking, 5% of the dice, or maybe they say they're doing 1, but they're doing 5, and you just have no way to verify that. But here you can verify it because it's on the blockchain.
Yes.
So that element of trust that the
you also can't have your money taken from you. So this has like been an issue in the online casino industry, is that if these sites are holding this money and they get shut down, then people lose their money. So these are a way for people to make sure that they don't lose their money if the site got shut down. Now, it can always get hacked, though.
Wow.
It can always get hacked. But what's really interesting is that this casino has 42 daily active users doing 1,200 ETH in volume. So what this means is there are 42 people...
Wow.
42 people doing
1270.
1270 divided by 42. On average, 30 ETH a person in the past 24 hours.
Wow.
That is 16...
Wow, these are like gambling addicts. Like hard. 17 Gs a day?
17 Gs a day. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, is that EtherRoll actually has a token associated with it. If you own...
Can we click on this?
Yes. So you can see right now the amount of gas used, transactions in the past 7 days.
Wow, this is dope.
You can look at the contract that it is.
Wow.
So you can see... this is the coolest thing. Yeah, so you can basically go through the entire business that these things are running.
Wow.
Yeah, this is
So
this is really what the Ether roll business is.
Holy shit.
And you, as an investor, have a cut of all the volume that this casino does.
And it's open source. Wow.
Yeah.
So the Ether roll. Wow. Okay. Very cool. Thank you for that detailed explanation, Alex. Dappradar is a site I'm going to be going to more and more just because I think it's a great way to get your pulse on how the Ethereum network's growing. Like general transactions per day, gas use per day is super important, but I think it adds a whole new element when you actually see what applications are driving that traction on the blockchain. So that's why I think Dappradar is a must check for everybody in the crypto universe. So Alex, maybe like one more time, could you just run us through like what these metrics mean?
So category, what type of thing it is, balance, how much ETH is being held in the contract itself, DAU, daily active users, how many people are using it daily,
Okay.
volume, the amount of ETH that has passed through this contract in the past 24 hours, ETH that's passed through this contract in the past 7 days, and then this is the actual number of transactions. So the amount of times people actually, or bots, interacted with this contract.
So one daily active user could be making multiple trades per day, and that's
yes,
with the discrepancy.
And that's really what we're seeing here. So in IDEX, it has 13,000 with 2,500 daily active users.
This is such a fascinating explanation of Dappradar. Thank you, Alex. All right, peace.
Peace.